Well, I think it would be fair to say our start to this save has been less than ideal. If you don't know what I mean by that, then go and check out last week's video up in the eye above. We went through Club 1 in just 4 games with no victories and a sacking on our CV. Not the greatest start for the Firefighter, who's supposed to become a survival specialist. Today though, as you saw at the end of last week's video, we're taking a little hop across Scandinavia. We're heading to Denmark for the second club of this career, and hopefully we can finally prove that we really are a firefighter. Yes, hello and welcome along to Club 2 of the Firefighter with me, Daniel. After a disaster over in Sweden with Hasselholm's, a relegation after 4 matches and no victories, we go into the second job of our career, still searching for our first match win, let alone a success in the save. As you know, we're heading over to Denmark to take charge of Lyseng in the 4th tier of Danish football. And today we are hopefully going to last more than 4 games in a job and have some success at our new club. As we mentioned before in the introduction and as we did last time out, we're going to go through our initial process here, look at the players, look at the staff we're going to be working with. We'll come back at important intervals, which in this one is going to be pretty interesting because we're joining 2 games before a long winter break in Denmark. We'll have a chance to get through the transfer window, get some players in, and really take on what I felt was the traditional essence of this save when we came up with it. We had a little bit of a free swing at the start. It didn't work out. So if you're looking forward to this one, seeing how we get on in Denmark, whether or not we can finally be a survival specialist and a firefighter, and please do put a thumbs up on the video. And of course, at the end, as we did last week, we'll then go for our summer job hunt and look at where we're going to end up next. But for now, we come back just before where we left off in the last episode, which is we negotiated a deal of 10 quid a week at Lyseng. They accepted it and we move into a new job. So let's go over to Denmark, meet the staff and the players and see what is awaiting us in Danish football. Well, it might have been a pay cut, but the one thing I do see is that under interim management, Lyseng have picked up a victory in their last match, which is really important. They are though bottom with 12 points from 15 matches, losing 3 of their last 5 and picking up just 4 points. And we have now come in with a chance to make a bit of a name for ourselves, because if we can get the team safe from here, it will look really good on our CV. Let's go and get through the introductory messages. It is a bigger reputation club than the one we left, weirdly. 1.5-star reputation, which is pretty good for an amateur side in Denmark's 4th tier. They've got pretty average facilities, but the youth recruitment shows signs of encouragement. Their insecure finances not ideal, and the club, to be fair, has been on the rise. It was in the 5th tier and 6th tier in the last 10 years, and it has built its way up. So we're definitely trying to keep the club in this division so they can progress. There's a director of football in place at this club who is okay, to be fair to him, and there is an assistant manager who's also a player that might be useful, but there's some more interesting stuff to come on that front. Let's go and get through the rest of the messages. 4-3-3 recommended. I can probably see that. That looks okay, nice and solid. Maybe with a bit longer to go in the season here, not just having a 4 or 5 game swing, an almost impossible job. We don't have to go quite as gun-ho. We can try and pick up points in the more traditional route and judge it game by game. If we go through to the next screen note, we've got to avoid relegation to get a new contract. But either way, we won't be accepting it. This is the Firefighter. We do not spend more than a season at a club, so we'll be looking again next summer. But will it be after success or a sacking? I think Lyseng will be hoping for the former. Let's go through to the next stuff and meet the introductory messages. Is there anything of note here? Supporter profile. How big is this club? Not big. 40 season ticket holders. Not quite the size we were looking for. We want to avoid relegation. How much of a difference does the wage budget make if we say mid-table finish? £1 a week. We won't worry about that. Avoid relegation is fine. We'll do the tactical direction in a minute. We want to first meet the team to work out what is the best one. Let's start though with the staffing. Anyone else we've missed out on? They have actually got a physio and a scout here, which is an improvement on our last club. But this is the one that I found most interesting. We've got a player who's also on the board of directors in Jonas Bervold. Now, that looks pretty shady to me, I've got to be honest with you. He's not the best character. His determination's poor. His leadership's poor. Why has he not got a personality there? I don't really understand that. But either way, It's not really ideal for us in this scenario. He's starting every game, which I'm sure doesn't surprise you. He's been here for 6 or 7 years. I'm intrigued by what he offers to the club. I just want to go and see, because we've got an assistant manager and a director on the playing staff. I just want to check that neither of them are captain or anything, just to make it easier. Oh, you're kidding me. The director's made himself captain. And he's one of the worst leaders in the dressing room. Oh, that's brilliant. So one of my first actions is going to have to be to strip the director of the captaincy. Oh, that's going to go down well, isn't it? Let's come back to the tactics in a minute. Have we got an assistant manager? Oh, yeah, it was the player, wasn't it? Henrik Brodersen. He's actually a decent player, so we'll keep an eye on him. We've got a goalkeeping coach who's okay. We've got another player who's a goalkeeping coach who's not good. And we've also, I think, did we have a fitness coach? No, we didn't. So we're a little bit short outside of goalkeeping coaches, but there's a few in the B team who can step up and help. But help is a strong word given their attributes. Although Peter Hansen, good working with youngsters, if we've got any. Let's go and have a look across at the playing staff, starting with the development centre. So there's a 3-star centre-half here in Mads Fransen. Oh my word. Jumping reach of 6, strength 6, composure 6, heading 7, passing 2, technique 1. That is a 3-star centre-half at this club. Not sure about that. Now, you may remember, because we did a save on Twitch earlier this year in Denmark in the lower leagues, you've got to have 3 under-21s on the bench. So seeing a 16-year-old here with 2.5-star ability is welcome news, to say the least. Let's have a look at that. I think he's going to be in a senior team. We'll probably promote Franzen as well. There's that goalkeeping coach who's also a keeper. Not good enough in the air. There's also a 19-year-old goalkeeper. Oh, he looks better of the two. Can actually jump, he's agile. A little bit of a weakness mentally, but we'll take that. And then further down, we've got a few young players who are decent. So Hedegaard, not a bad winger if we need a substitute. We'll come back to those though. Let's look at the senior squad and what we've inherited. It's a big old squad, this, to be fair. There's only, one player's taken up all the wages, and it's a lone goalkeeper who's not very good by the looks of it. So Magnus Nissen, 2.5-star ability, reflex is 6, jumping reach 10. He's not better than the youngster, is he? No, I don't think so. I'm going to send him back. Let's save some money straight away, because we can invest that elsewhere. If we can get loans in positions we need, rather than for a goalkeeper who's not great. His average rating 6.45 here. We're going to play the youngster instead. We've got Anders Nagel as another keeper. Annoyingly, he's not registered in the squad. And he can't be registered till January. But I'm not sure why he wasn't put in, because he's better than the one that they've got on loan. But we'll deal with that. There's only 2 games to go till the winter break, as I mentioned. So it's not like we've got to get through much. If we have a look through the defenders, it seems to be a bit of a muchness, because everyone virtually is 3-star, bar one youngster. So we've got Alex Herzbol. He's okay. Jumping reach isn't great. Positioning's not great, but he's across the board, he's all right. We've got Lindegaard, who's pretty poor mentally, but he's got great positioning and great defensive attributes, which may be enough for me here. Better at set pieces as well. Franson, we've looked at briefly when we promoted him. Mikkelsen, yeah, maybe. August Emery is the youngster. He'll probably have to be on the bench. He's okay. Don't like the concentration, can't tackle, can't run, can't be strong. We'll live with it. Marco Cruz is a left back, 3-star. Yeah, he's all right. Nothing special, but he'll do the job. We've got Jonas Abdullah, who's a young 19-year-old left back. Again, good candidate for the bench here. Good determination, so should improve as well. Jesper Broberg is a right back. Yeah, again, does a job. He's okay. Jakob Hansen, centre mid and holding mid. Solid. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now we've got our first star, which is Matthias Lauerson. Are you a right back or right winger? Because you're 4-star ability. You're a right winger by trade. You're quick. You're good off the ball. You're determined. He's just good. He's a good winger. I've got no problem with that. There's another under 21 there who's not great. So that striker we've promoted will probably go on the bench instead. Nassim Faizi. Not as good as Lauerson, but okay. Brodersen is the assistant manager. Not determined, which is not great for the characters there, but is a decent enough player for now at 33. Helgaard, sorry. Good on the ball, terrible stamina, no work rate, no fitness. I'm hoping there'll be someone better than him. It might be the director, Jonas Bervold. He's not actually a bad player, but he's not a leader or a captain by any stretch of the imagination. So if he doesn't react badly to me stripping him of the captaincy, I will get him involved from the start in the first game. Left wingers, we've got Victor Erlenschlager, who is, do you know what? For a 20-year-old, not bad. Why does he not qualify as an under 21? Born after 1st of the 3rd, 23. He's 2 months too old. That's a shame because he'd be a great substitute. But the best player is also a left winger, and that is Erlen Sorloy, who is 4-star ability at 29. Oh, wow. I mean, you can immediately see that is a step up from the rest of the squad. Not the best personality again, but he's versatile, he's quality, he's good in the air, which is important at the back post. And technically, he's solid across the board. Really like him. And he's also a decent set piece taker. 10 for free kicks, for corners, even 8 for penalties. That's crucial at this stage of the save. The next best player is Anders Feister, who is a 22-year-old target forward. Oh, yes. 6'6", 17 jumping reach. Get the party started. We are playing direct. Do you want a Pulis? Do you want an Allardyce? You're certainly going to get it. That boy in the box is going to score goals. I'm sure of it. 3 and 12. We need to create chances for him. Love that. Him with Sorhoy putting the crosses in and Lawson on the right. I think we've got that 4-3-3 for a reason. Hansen as a holding mid. Bervold in the middle. We're probably one short in centre mid. But otherwise, we've got a decent front six there, I'd say. If we can improve the defence and maybe get a centre mid in, we've got a solid little team. The other attacking players don't look great. Mads Sorensen, he's all right, but yeah, he doesn't really do it for me. Thomas Lauritsen, versatile player, a winger who can finish really well. So off the right, another option as well, maybe off the left cutting in. Yeah, that's not bad. Jonas Sondergaard is a striker who, again, 6'2", okay in the air, but the lack of composure, often a problem at this level. And then young Rygaard we've just promoted, who will have to be on the bench from the start. But he's 6'1" as well, and not too bad in the air. So I actually quite like the look of this team. It's far more balanced overall. For now, as a 4-3-3 with that holding midfielder, it's okay. I think what we're going to do here, because we've actually got scouts in, is have a look at what's in the sort of the pool of scouted players the club's already got. There are youngsters there that they're telling us to have a little look at. Some players who might be decent that they've already got knowledge on. And then at the top of the order, there was already a centre-half with 3-star ability, Christian Beck, who I think might improve us looking at that. So I'm going to try and get busy now because we've only got 2 games and then there's that big winter break with the January window. And that's when we can sign actual players, but free agents we can sign at any point. So I'm going to try and get these guys in. I'm going to have a look at the director of football as we've got one in place, see the players they recommend in each position, probably just bring in a bundle of them on trial over that winter period, and then hopefully find 3, 4 or 5 that could improve the team. There is a worry on this front, and I know you guys will have had it before if you've managed in amateur football. Basically, your players can get poached at any point. You can see there's loads of players wanted, but because we're amateur, anyone can come in and trade players for free really quickly. And that is going to leave us in a world of trouble because if one of those players, like I'm looking at this team now, basically, if Sorhoy or Feister get poached, I'm going to be in big trouble because they're the 2 I'm going to build my tactic around. Get it down the left and right to Lawson and Sorhoy. Get crosses in the box. Hit the target man and Feister's going to be in there. Just having a look at the centre mids again. Bervold's 5'11", Broderson, 6'1", jumping reach of 12. So we'll get him in there as a box-to-box and we'll just aim crosses for 2 big units and an arriving winger at the back post. I think that leaves us in a good position. And if we can get Bervold attacking the edge of the box with his long shot rating, could leave us in a really good position. However, one of those 2 stars go, we're in big trouble. So the plan is we're going to play 4-3-3. We're going to play those 2 as the key part of the tactic. We're going to aim for back post corners, crosses from wide areas, free kicks as well, and just try and take advantage of that monster we've got up front. We'll get through the 2 games before the winter break. We'll see how we're going. And then after that, we'll probably come back after the winter break to see what we've done in the transfer window. So let's go and get through the first 2. Let's set up our tactic and we'll return to reflect on them because hopefully we're going to have some success. Well, my word, has this been an eventful old spell. We return on the 9th of March. Looks like I've just skipped ahead 4 months, but don't forget we only had 2 games before that winter break, and now I've been busy in a transfer market. It all started so well, as you can see, though. We are up to 11th place. We have picked up 4 points from our first 2 matches, including a game against the team currently top of the table, and more importantly, perhaps, a crucial win against the side directly above us to close the gap. Don't forget here, the bottom 3 go down, but there is a league split at 22 games, and then after 32, the bottom 3 are relegated. We have had a terrific start on the pitch, which I'm going to reflect on, but I've got to be honest with you here, and I'm finding it very hard to hide it at the moment. There has been a hammer blow, and yes, it is of the kind that we discussed a few minutes ago. Let's start with the schedule though, because on the pitch, the first 2 games were magnificent. Against SFB Aura, who are top of the league, we drew 1-1. We came back from behind. We put in the young goalkeeper, Oris, after sending back the lone player taking up the wage bill, and he was magnificent. Did so well. Sorhoy set up the goal, brilliant cross from him, and we got a really good result. Then we played a side in and around us, and I thought, well, this is when we're going to find out if we've got a chance. And what a performance. A 6-1 victory at home to Naseby. Scored in the first 20 seconds. I think it actually set a record. Might have been 14 or 15, something like that. Then we were pegged back, but afterwards, Anders Feister, the 6'6" man, scored no goals with his head. All the crosses were on the floor and he put them in. Bervold, the director, got one. And young Rygaard, who he promoted from the youth team, got himself a goal as well. Of course, now we've had a 3-month break and then loads of friendlies, which includes some goal scorers that you may not be that familiar with, because this is the biggest change I've had to make to my mindset. And the reason I wanted to do this save, we discussed it in the introduction, is thinking differently. Just going and getting players for the here and now. It's all about the short term. Don't worry about the long term of the club. If 20 players say they want to be classed as important players and they're all going to be unhappy next year, if you promise someone a promotion next year or whatever, doesn't matter, because we're not going to be here for the consequences of it. That means I can just go and focus on getting the job done in the here and now to preserve my legacy and make myself look good, which is a way that we don't often get to think. That's normally down to the AI managers, and we get left with the pieces to pick up afterwards. So what we've done in the transfer window is gone and got 20 trialists at the start, as we mentioned, sign the best 3 or 4. And then we've been forced into action in the January window and beyond because of a bit of a disaster. Let's go through to the transfer centre and see what we mean. And maybe you'll get a clue from the fact that we're still trying to sign a striker going into this game in March after the break. Of course, we're going to talk about the hive of activity on this side. And actually, Sorhoy and Hansen, to be fair to them, were signings in this save. So the club has definitely got good recruitment in place. But there is one name on the right. There's not many of them, but there is one that is an absolute disaster. 2 young players that we would never have seen anyway have gone. But so has Anders Feister. And not only has he gone, he's gone to the side who are currently 3rd in our division. He's taken the move to go to a team fighting at the top, albeit there's not that many points between us, only just over 10. And he has left, which is a bit of a problem because, as we discussed a few moments ago, we set up our entire tactic to play around him. He scored a hat-trick in his second game. He could have been the linchpin that sent us up the table. And I'm now a little bit worried without him, because finding someone who is identical to him is quite difficult, because he's actually a decent finisher and relatively quick as well, which is something we're not likely to find elsewhere. Let's have a look at what we have done though, because the players in generally very good, but maybe just missing that focal point now. Regardless of that, let's look at the ones we have brought in, because there are 8 players overall, and we even managed to sign one name that I knew from real life, which I wasn't expecting at this stage. Let's start with the man that you knew about already. Christian Beck was one that was already in the club scout reports when we joined. We've brought him in. He's nowhere near as good as was expected. And to be fair, because we're an amateur club and we're not training much, we're at a very low level, all of these players are declining quickly. So Christian Beck will probably actually be nowhere near. That's not ideal for us, but we've got a better replacement in that position anyway. The first one that we can get excited about, all of the next 3, as you can see, signed the same day. They were players we bought in on trial the first day we joined, and then after about a week discovered that these were the best. So Theodor Kramerix is the first of them, 23-year-old Norwegian centre midfielder, box to box by nature, which is basically an upgrade on Broderson, the assistant manager. Still had the same physical attributes of being 6'1", good jumping reach. But he's also a good finisher. He's good on the ball. Set piece delivery is good as well. Just a big upgrade and determined character. So for the rest of this season at least, will give us a real asset from the centre of the park. We did say we were one short in midfield. The next one adds, well, even more quality in that position because Madu Mbai is a holding midfielder, 23-year-old from Sweden. Basically an upgrade on Hansen at this point. A little bit better defensively, better physically, and work rate, the positioning. He's got it all. He's just a really solid player. What I've tried to do is bring in sort of 5 or 6 players that are of Sorhoy's quality and hopefully of Feister's quality, but then we lost him, so that didn't really work. But these 2 players add a lot of bite in the middle of the park and a lot of quality in the position we needed it. What about defence? Well, we couldn't fix that straight away, so we went and got another winger instead. Madupa Koka initially came in as a backup striker, but due to the fact that Lawson on the right keeps getting injured, he is going to play out there a little bit as well. A really versatile player, good to have on the bench, where essentially we're only going to have 3 senior outfield players because of the under-21 rule. So he just covers all 3 positions in one. He's good enough in the air. He's good across the board physically. And he's a really decent character. He's determined. He works hard. He's got that little bit of flair and bravery as well. But he's also okay technically. So as a 21-year-old, will do the job for this year, probably predominantly off the bench. And then we get to January and we find 2 more players worth signing. Jeppe Højbjerg is the first. He is a new goalkeeper. We sent back the loanee for 25 quid a week. We've signed a new star player for £1 a week. Højbjerg is on paper a very good keeper. He's 6'4", got a great jumping reach, good in the air, solid enough reflexes, handling and everything else. The concentration's a worry. But otherwise, looks a good keeper on paper. Likes to rush out, bit more of a sweeper keeper. Might help us save a few more goals. But he's actually played a lot of games at higher levels. Played in the Super League as first choice keeper for Esbjerg for 4 seasons. This is a keeper with quality. He's 28 now, but I'm sure he'll do a job for us for the rest of this one. Then we go to right back as we sign Sigurdur Dagsson. I think Broberg was our weakest defender, and while I wasn't actively looking for superstars, this guy is one of those that pops up in the scout reports, and I thought, yeah, he's an upgrade. We're going to bring him in. No wage contribution again. He's quicker. He's better defensively. Just as good in the cross and a bit more determined. And again, 6'2", has the versatility to cover in midfield in an emergency. Just really gives us that quality on the pitch. So Dagsson is going to be a crucial addition to the squad and will be a regular starter. And at that point, I was feeling really quite confident about myself. I thought, look at all those players we've got with the stars we had. Then, of course, Feister was poached, and we've been in panic mode ever since. We've followed up with a signing of a player I've heard of. Michael Jacobson, now 38 years of age, probably Jacobson, apologies to him. But he is a player who back in the day played for the likes of Copenhagen, for Almeria. I had an FM save around there, which is where I'd heard of him from. And has also played for PSV earlier in his career as well. So this is a player who's been around and featured for some good European sides. Played in the Superliga regularly for, 10 years, 10 seasons. And has also had international caps for Denmark. 3.5-star ability. He's slow now, but mentally and physically, he's a very good defender. And still a big upgrade on what we've got. So I think he's going to be a really good addition for the short term. We're not playing a high line or anything. He adds a bit more of a threat from a set piece too. Just really like him. Think it's a good addition alongside a quick centre-half partner. Then we've got the emergency signing. The first of 2. Probably won't be first choice if we get the one that's pending. But Torbjorn Troen is a centre-forward. He's 34. He's not as quick as Feister. But crucially, he's even taller. He's 6'8". He's got a 19 jumping reach. He's great in the air. Doesn't have the all-round game that Feister has. Doesn't have the all-round ability. Doesn't have the physical attributes elsewhere. But he might just do the job with crosses into the box. So hopefully he'll be a useful squad addition. Not fit enough to do 90 minutes. So the idea is we get someone else and then he comes in as a super sub to save a game. If we need to chuck 2 up front, if we need a big target man in the box, he'll be the one. The one we're trying to sign now is Elmo Heinonen. He is a 26-year-old Finn. Again, 6'2", looks like he's got decent jumping reach and strength. Can finish, which is important as well. And he's got a record of 1 in 2 at his last club. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to sign him and he'll be the star of the show. We'll wait and find out if I'm right on that. Let's have a look at the tactics so I can show you what we're doing. It is a 4-3-3, very traditional, standard supporting fullbacks and wingers, all of them set to cross aim for the target forwards and in most cases cross more often. The fullbacks not so much often because they're not as good a crosser as the winger. I'd rather them lay it off. But then we've got the box-to-box midfielder, the centre mid on attack, get them all further forward supporting that striker in the box and try and create chances. But at the same time, a solid base of 2 standard centre halves and a holding midfielder that will just sit there. And Mbaye will hopefully be the enforcer in that position. So I'm really quite confident about where we are as a squad, but I can't lie, I'm a little concerned that losing Feister is going to be costly here. We've got ground to make up, so having that solid squad that's going to get draws is probably not enough. We need to pick up wins, and where does that come? Well, it's going to have to come in the next few games because you look at the teams we're playing 7th place, I know then 2nd, but 9th, 4th and 12th. Really, when we get to the split, we've got to be right in contention. We're still 5 points from safety at the moment. A reminder, looking at the league rules, that the bottom 6 go into the relegation stage after 22 matches. And then after they play each other twice more, the bottom 3 are relegated from the division. So we've got to finish 9th or above. And I felt we were on course without losing the striker. So we're going to get through the next batch of games, see if there's any big headline news. Hopefully we'll add that other striker as well. And fingers crossed, we're not losing any more stars. None others wanted apart from a couple of the defenders, but I feel we've got backups to cope with that. So let's just see what the results bring. Can we make a success of it? Let me know what you think at this stage. We'll be back in a minute to find out. Well, this is getting very tense because we have reached the league split and we have been fantastic. However, look at this table. Avarta are gone at the bottom. We've just beaten them in the last game before the split. Look at the other 5. 3 points separate all of us. This looks like being a blockbuster finish. Now, I'd love for my good form to be reflected and us to just be away with the fairies and safe. But in the grand scheme of things, when we set up this save, we were hoping for a bit of late drama. We were hoping for some final day deciders. Well, we're certainly on course for that, aren't we? I think we need to note Sorhoy at the top here. 11 goals. He's gone up from 5. He is flying, that kid. Has been really, really crucial for us. The director, Bervold, has contributed as well. He deserves some credit. And Lawson on the right has been a contributor too. Still struggling a little through the middle, but we're doing a very good job for now. And we're outside that bottom 3, which is crucial. Let's have a look at the club vision because we are now at a C+. We are just about on course to avoid relegation. However, it's going to be interesting to see how the league split works out. If we go to the transfers, we did have just one more addition, and it was the man we talked about before. Heinonen joined up front, and he is now the first choice. Has scored a couple of goals. He's not quite the pronounced target man, but he's a bit more of that all-round forward. If he'd just been a couple of inches taller and had a bit of a higher leap, he'd have been a superstar. But he's without doubt the best striker at the club, and he's also got the work rate, which is crucial. If we go and have a look at the schedule, though, it's a pretty remarkable run from us. Since we've been here, we've only lost 1 game, which was the one before last, and we bounced back straight away. And we have now won 5 of our 7 matches in charge. We have really taken this club up the table. And if you look at the last 5 games, it's largely been down to one man, certainly after the winter break. Against Vejgaard, we won by 4 goals to 1. Sorhoy got a hat-trick. Troen did get a goal on his debut, which was lovely as well. Hasn't backed it up since, unfortunately. But brilliant from Sorhoy. Saw the game out for us in half an hour. Did the same in the next game at home to 2nd place. Another hat-trick to see the game off comfortably. We then won 3-0 against one of our relegation rivals and another new hero. In fact, all those goals were new signings. 2 for Kokot, 1 for Mbaye. A 3-1 defeat at home despite scoring in the first minute was a bit annoying against Frem. We bounced back against bottom of the league of Varta. A 3-1 victory after going behind. Heinonen got his 2nd goal for the club. Bervold and Kokot both got 1 apiece. But Sorhoy picked up a knock, which will see him potentially miss the next game. So a really good run on the pitch. I couldn't have asked for more. The lads have been competitive. They've worked in this tactic really well. We've kept it fairly simple. And you can see that we're having an impact. I was a bit worried in the first game. Højbjerg threw one into the back of the net, which was annoying. But the game was already won, which is all that was important. And Otherwise, all the new boys have settled in. Dagson's rating's over 7, and Baez is over 7. Kokas is over 7. Heinonen as well. The players that we've bought in, Kramerix has had a knock, but he's well over 7 too. The players we've bought in have been the best performers. And bar Sorhoy, they've been the ones that have contributed to that new level. If we'd have kept Feister, I think we'd already be safe. As it is, it looks like we've got a blockbuster finish. But the reason I've come back midway between a split and the next fixture is because there's also been a youth intake for the club today. And that's pretty important, isn't it? Because we've got to put 3 under-21s on the bench here. Not going to be a worry at future clubs for us, but for now, we've got to look at Christian Kongsmark, who might be enough to make the bench. Maybe not. Poor character, low determination, but quick, can finish a little bit, is fairly composed. His off-the-ball movement is awful, but he's 6 foot as well. So if we're in an emergency and we need someone on the bench, he will do the job. Because at the moment, with just 3 senior players on a substitutes bench, we need the youth players to be decent and contribute as well, and be a part of them 5 subs that we make each game, because the fatigue for amateur players is very real late in matches. So you may look at all of this and think, well, it's going really well, isn't it? What a performance. And there's a reason that I particularly mentioned that C+ rating in the club vision, because we go back 3 days to that last game that we won against bottom of the league. We saw a bit of a weird message in the backup for it, because if we go down and have a little look at the pre-match preview, El Sakiko looms for Cody and Gal. This was before the last game, where we just dropped back into the relegation zone after our first defeat in our 6th game in charge, and we were immediately touted as at risk of a sack. And our actual club vision rating here and our board feedback was an E, which I very rarely see. They're extremely concerned at our lack of support and the fact that we were defeated by what is a top half side. They're 4th, they're battling for promotion. So just 3 days ago, and if we put into perspective at that point, our record before this game that we just won was 6 games played, 4 victories, 1 draw, 1 defeat, 13 points out of 18 since joining, and getting the club from, I think it was 8 points adrift, wasn't it, to what was 1 point adrift at that point. We were on 25, and 26 was still in 3rd place there. And we were being linked with El Sakiko and had an E board feedback. So you may think that this has all been going swimmingly and that we've managed to get ourselves into a good position. But the problem I have, and the reason I mention this table being so tight, is that if we have 1 defeat in our next game, for example, and drop back into that bottom 3, every time we do, it seems to be we're going to get sacked. And that's not particularly helpful at this stage of the season, especially when we've played so well, we've done so brilliantly. I was really happy with my performance. We lost our first game, but I went, do you know what? That was against the top half side. We were 5 unbeaten before. We've got bottom of the league next. We'll bounce back. We'll be fine. We're in a right good position. And then I'm being linked, we're being sacked. It's been a very strange old season off the pitch here. And it does seem that there's a little bit of a lack of context in the boardroom. But maybe, I don't know. Panic stations are awry at Lyseng. Let's skip ahead, see if we get any more sack news. And hopefully we'll be able to stay out that bottom 3. Because it looks like, despite doing, I would argue, a brilliant job here, we might be in a bit of trouble. Well, 6 games later, and I guess you could say it's all gone a little bit wrong. We've not had a disgusting or horrible record since you were last here for an update, and we have got a crucial home game state against bottom of the league side, who I think are already relegated. Yeah, 4 to go, 13 away. But we are back in the bottom 3, and as you can see, it has not got any less tight in the table. 5 points separate Young Boys in 2nd in the relegation group and us in 5th. And we have still got to play Naseby, who are 1 place above us. And we've got to play Young Boys on the final day. How crucial could that be? If you look at our record, we joined when the club had 12 points after 15 games. So we've picked up 21 in 13, which is a great record. But is it going to be enough? We've got to win this game, you feel, and then probably pick up 4 more points elsewhere. If we have a look at the form that's got us to this point in the last 6, it's not been perfect. We drew against Avarta, which I think that's the most costly one. We were terrible first half. They then got a red card, which helped us out, and Sorhoy scored from the spot. But you can see where the problem is. We lost Feister, and then both strikers are on a goal drought. The only game we've won since that Avarta one, in fact, all the points we've picked up have been due to Sorhoy, who scored the equaliser against Avarta, set up the equaliser against Naseby, and then scored both when we beat Young Boys in what was a crucial victory. But even then, we've lost 4 games since we've been here, and that in 13 is not a bad effort at all. The fact that we've given them a chance, I think, should be applauded, but instead, we're being very heavily linked with a sack because the board are disappointed, they're not happy. But if we win this one, I think we're back in the mix. So we want to try and get ourselves back into it with a big win at home to the bottom side. And then I think we might be heading towards a final day decider. I'll let you know if there's any news in the meantime. I think we might get to see a game in this episode. I don't know about you. I think this one is going to the wire. Well, we have certainly predicted it right. And my word, it's even closer than I imagined. Look at this for a final day. I had been creating save points every time we'd had an El Sakiko, but it got a little bit boring in the end. We've survived 3 of them so far. But this game is the one. It comes down to the last game between 2 sides that are separated by goal difference. Lyseng versus Young Boys, both on 39 points. I want to put a bit of perspective in that as well. We have picked up 27 from 16. That's a great record. But we could be facing not having enough. Imagine getting 40 points in a 32 match season and getting relegated. It could be possible, but I don't know how it works out, whether it's head-to-head record, goal difference, whatever. I'm guessing if we're above them now, and it is head-to-head, that we've got a better one, and a draw would be enough anyway. So I think we just need to avoid defeat in this game. If we could win, takes all the pressure off. We could even finish above the next side as well. Vejgaard have won this by a mile. Avarta have got relegated, and we are very close. And it could have been even better for us because we lost 1-0 in our last game, which is frustrating. Sorhoy is still the top scorer. He is still the star of the show. And as you can see, he's still been the key man because in the 3 games since you were last here, we got a 2-0 victory against Avarta. Heinen finally finding the goal. Kramerix was back in style against Naseby. This game was the one. We were 1-0 up at half-time. My team talk was obviously appalling. We went 2-1 down after 10 minutes, and I just went for it. I went attacking. I chucked 2 through the middle. I got very, very scared. Thankfully, that boy bailed me out again. Erlen Sorhoy might go down as a legend of this save if we stay up. I didn't expect to find one this early on, but he has been remarkable. 16 goals in 29 now for the season. An incredible rating for one of the worst teams in the league. And he is single-handedly keeping us in with the chance. But now we've got to go away from home. And how crucial is home advantage going to be in this one? We've not got the big target man off the bench, Trern. He's got sprained ankle ligaments. Probably doesn't matter. Hasn't scored since his debut. 12 other appearances, no goals. He's been appalling. But we've not really got any other strikers. So that's why I'm concerned about it. I'm hoping Heinen and being back in form and Sorhoy looking good is going to be crucial. And I tell you what, if this club loses Sorhoy, if they stay up, they're going to be right in trouble next year because he is a one-man team. If we go through the inbox, I'm sure you were expecting all of the big messages, rallying the troop, and of course, our 4th El Sakiko of this save because whoever goes down will obviously lose their job. It is the lowest playable league. We come down to our final day to decide whether this has been a success or a failure. I'm going to be honest with you here. Either way, I'm taking this as a success because the points tally we've picked up from our games in charge, the difference we've made to the team, I think is remarkable. But it's still going to be listed as 2 sackings and 2 failures. So we've got to find a way to do the job. Let's get through to the fixtures. Let's play the final game. Let's do our live commentary because, look, when we started this save, we knew we might have some final day tussles, and it meant the odd game you were going to see on camera, God, they were going to be exciting ones, weren't they? A quick note, actually, I want to see while we're here. Van Losa 4th. How's our boy getting on, Feister? Has he been playing? Yes, he has. He's only scored 3 in 12 there. Oh, why didn't you stay? You could have been a hero. You could have been a hero. Let's get through to the team selection. This is roughly what we've been going for. Trern obviously was on the bench. He's picked up a knock. But what that does mean today is that we can actually strengthen the bench because we're going to bring the youngster Rygaard on as a sub-striker, which means Headgaard can then get off the bench and Erlenschlager, who is the sub-left winger, can go on there, which means that if Sorhoy doesn't contribute, we've got a way to change it around, move his position and make it work. Coker has come in on the right for the last couple of games for Lawson, but Lawson was brilliant last time out, so he is in. No, that's a risk when it comes to mentality. But as you can see, we're stumbling over the line. And we've had another hammer blow with 2 games to go. Randomly out of the blue, the 38-year-old Jacobson, who'd been doing well at centre-half, just retired. 2 games to go in the season, went, oh, I'm going to give it up, lads. So he's just bottled it with a week and a half to go. Didn't fancy doing the last 2 games. And we are now a centre-half down. We're back with an unfit Hersbolt and Lindegaard, who were the 2 that started there for us. But otherwise, loads of new boys, loads of good players. And generally, we've done so well. I just hope that we can find a way over the line. This is the 11 for the decider, the final day relegation battle. I will just look at the rules very quickly to make sure that we're not sorted by different rules to what we're expecting. It's sorted by goal difference. So if we draw or win, we survive. If we lose, we go down. Simple as that. The 11 who have the destiny in their hands are Højbjerg between the sticks, Dagson and Kruse the fullbacks with Lindegaard and Hersbolt in the middle. And Bailly is alongside Kramaric and Bervold, the director in centre midfield. Then right wing is Lauersen in for Coker. Left hand side is the one-man team Sorhoy. And up front is Heinonen. Please, today, just find your goal scoring form. That's all I need. Let's go and get through to it. The big decider to finish the season. We're going to need luck. We're going to need quality in front of goal. We've dominated a lot of games without scoring since Feister left. I need this match to be the one where we put those chances away. Let's see if we can do it. Well, I've done the sensible thing here as we go into the game. I have made the chat with the captain and with the centre forward to say, come on, you're doing well. I'm praising your conduct and trying to get them on side in the dressing room. Will it have an impact? We'll wait and see. This is a huge match. Let's see how we get on. Through the dressing room, it all comes down to this. Even a point is enough. Go out there and impress me. Pump the fist. Come on, boys. No reaction at all. Exactly what we wanted, isn't it? We'll talk to the midfielders. We'll say, I've got faith in you to make the difference. That seems to be the one that's working. We're going to do the same for Heinonen. And then defensively, we'll do exactly the same as well. Just try and get a few on board. 4 of them have reacted. 1 motivated. We got the skipper inspired. Hopefully that will translate onto the pitch. A nice big stadium with no fans in it. And 2 sides that are separated by goal difference. The final day, one of us will be relegated. One of us will survive. Which way round's it going to be? Well, a couple of minutes in and we've got the old hazy screen, haven't we? Not what we wanted for one of these matches. Let's go and get that sorted out. Come back in. Hopefully we'll get a better looking pitch then. Let's cancel that. There we go. It's a normal colour now. 2 minutes in and we've nicked the ball high with Lauersen. That's what we wanted. Cuts it back to Mbaye. Carries it through midfield to Kramaric. Back to the centre half who starts again. Big ball forward. It's over the top to Heinonen. Oh, it's a good save. Feister didn't miss those. The chat didn't work and he scored a couple of goals a few games ago. He should be in form. Zorhoy's on the corner though and there are some big boys at the back stick. Kramaric's up, can't get there. Hersbolt will keep it in. The centre half back to Mbaye. Goes for the shot, deflects to Lauersen. Big start for us. Lyseng are ahead. And that gives us a goal buffer. Not enough based on our form this season. But we might be doing it on the final day. The side above us are ahead as well. They're playing bottom of the table of Varta. So I don't think we can expect too much from them. But what a start that is. It's so important for us. And at the moment, we're surviving. We're doing the job on the final day. We're getting no help from Ishoj at all. But can we help ourselves? Because Sorhoy's got another corner. The goal indirectly came from that last time. It's headed away here, only as far as Bervold. The director, hey, it affects your pockets if you get relegated, son. You make sure you deliver. Say that, he's older than me here. As Versball gets the ball to Dagson. Up to Kramaric, through to Heinonen. Was he onside? It's bumbling all over the place. Terrible defending. And Kruse picks it up on the left-hand side. They can't get out at a minute. And these boys, fair play to them so far, producing a very big performance. Kramaric, since he's been back from injury, we've been better. And that cross, oh, it's sublime. But Heinenen's offside. It looked close, but what are you going to do? There's no VAR at amateur level. Well, Ishoj are 5-1 up at half-time. I think we know they're going to be safe. It all comes down to this game. And so far, to be fair, we have restricted our host to no shots on target. We know they're going to go attack in second half. We know they're going to go for it. What do I say? Do I keep the confidence up or say don't get complacent? I'm pretty sure I said don't get complacent in that game that we only just won against Naseby. Interesting manager there, I'll show you after as well. I'm going to tell the boys to keep it up. It's a bold call. It's our biggest team talk of our career so far, but it could be the winning moment. 10 minutes gone in the second half. We've not had the same effect as we did in that last game. As Hurstbowl picks it up, we're on the front foot again. Second goal would just reassure me so much. And Sorhoy hasn't turned up yet. If he could have a moment, that'd be lovely. And Bailly keeps it again. What a signing he's been. Sorhoy to Cruiser. Find Sorhoy again. Can he have some magic in his boots today? Back to Cruiser. Into Burvold. Cruiser. Heinenen's at the back post. Heads it back in. Just over the bar. It's onto the roof of the net. It's a little bit too high for him, in fairness. But Sorhoy's got a free kick. And we are dominant here. It bubbles all over the place. And Bailly's there. And he nods it in. One of my signings with the really crucial moment. The keeper comes. The defender heads it up. They're caught in no man's land. And then Bailly just nods it in. Has even scored for us before, I think once. It's his second goal. And it might be the most important one. It's a corner kick for the host. We don't want to give away a set-piece goal here. Because we've been so dominant. Don't let them back in it. Headers over the bar. We did enough. Not going to be making early changes here. I don't care if the subs are unhappy. We will wait as late as possible because I just want this job done. Ironically, Sorhoy's been the worst player on the pitch, but I think we owe him one, to be fair. He's given us a few days himself. I'm going to take Heinenen off up front for Coker, who we know can do that job up there. Now, I'm just going to leave it another 10 minutes. I don't need any subs yet. The only position I would is the centre-halves on bookings, but look, we've only got a youngster on there. I'm not going to do that. We'll just get through to the final few minutes. Surely we're going to be okay. As Dagson plays a 1-2 with Kramericks from the throw. A third would seal it. Sorhoy just deserves the moment. I'd like him to score just for that. Long ball forward is headed away. They can't get out, to be honest. I say that. They'll probably find a beautiful flowing move now. And they're going to have to go for it. But we've nicked it with Dagson. Another good sign into Coker. Through ball is there, but he takes on the man. Shoots himself. Good save from Lindhard in the corner. Just a few fatigue legs now, so I will make the subs in a moment. There are 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. And unless we concede 3 goals, we are safe. We're going to take Burvold off, the director. On will come Hansen, and Bailly will switch into midfield. He will then go on a support duty or even a defensive duty. Just give us a bit more solidity. We're going to go Sorhoy off on the left. You deserve a rousing ovation. Erlenschlager will come on. And I'm not even going to make the other 2 yet. We'll do it in stoppage time to waste time if we can. What a performance. 3 minutes added on. We've got 90 seconds to go. Now we will do it. We'll bring on Abdullah for Cruiser. And we'll bring off Dagson. We'll go Lawson right back. And we'll bring on Rygaard, put Coker out wide. What a day. What a moment to show up. What a performance from Lyseng. We have achieved the first successful firefighting moment of the save. We have survived from 8 points adrift on the final day of the season. And most importantly, the mentality of those boys to show up when it matters most. No shots on target against. 2 goals to 0. The goalkeeper was excellent. Our signing got the crucial second goal after setting up the first. It really has been a magnificent day. Let's go and get through. See the official news after all of that. Because this firefighter has done something special. We've survived, and our second job is a success. Let's get through to the end of season messages. Well, there is confirmation. Young boys relegated on the final day. Lyseng are safe by 3 points. And if you put that into full totals for our time in charge, 30 points from 17 matches. Nearly 2 points a game. And we only survived on the final day. That's some effort. And Bailly, what a signing you've been, sunshine. And Holstro were champions. We battered them after the winter break. And they've managed to win the league on the final day. That's a pretty good effort from them, isn't it? I did want to show you one other thing very quickly before we resign and start our job hunt, though. I mentioned that crucial Naseby game a couple of weeks ago. And the fact that they were a bit dogged, they had a bit of fight in them. In the end, unfortunately, they did go down. But look at the manager they brought in to try and save the day for them. Nicholas Bentner took charge. That was his second game in charge against us. And he almost got a result for them. Did really decently. But Nicholas Bentner in the 4th tier of Danish footballers manager. Who would have thought you'd see that? As it is, we survive on the final day. But you all know what the drill is here. Success. The club vision. They're happy with us. We've avoided relegation. The supporters like us even more than the board. And you know what? I've actually really enjoyed managing here. I'm going to save it so I can continue off camera. Then you know what we're going to do. We're going to resign. We're going to head for a new job next season. In which nation and at which club is it going to be? Time to find out what job offers come along next season. Well, at this early stage of our career, it's actually working out quite well because we're almost getting 2 jobs a season or 2 job opportunities a year, given the fact that we've got lots of winter to winter and summer to summer leagues loaded. And in the past 2 days, we've had 2 job interview offers. Now, I'm not going to bore you by going through them all again, but these are the ones we've had. And I'm particularly intrigued by this one today because Deportes Recoleta are a Chilean First Division B side who are battling against relegation. One team goes down and there's 3 points separating the bottom 4. They're right in that mix. But interestingly, they're a 2-star reputation club, which would be the biggest of our career so far. And they're expected to be mid-table, so we'll attend that. On the other end of the scale, we've had an offer of an interview at Ragsveds. They are a side in Sweden in the same division. We had a nightmare last year. However, my question is, are we going to be able to do it at a smaller reputation club? I'm kind of at the viewpoint now that any experience is good experience. I'm seeing these as a sort of free hit. It's a much more competitive situation at an earlier stage of the season than we encountered last time we went to Sweden. They're a tiny club, half a star reputation, but they're semi-pro. They've got some players in there who are earning money, if nothing else. And they've also got facilities that are probably on a par, if not slightly better, than some of those we had in Denmark. So I feel over a little period, it could be the right thing. And also, I'm not going to get many chances to do these winter-to-winter jobs. And early in my career, I really want to put right what went wrong in Sweden and maybe succeed in all of the areas of Scandinavia. If we look at the season preview, they were expected to avoid relegation in 11th. There are also how many games in this season? 26. So there's still nearly half the season to go. So that one is appealing to me for a very different way because it's a chance for us to put things right. We're going to attend both of those, see if either offer us a job. But if they do, I think I'm going to take it because I just want to get experience at this stage. We've got no reputation. We've got no coaching badges. And we need to build up a CV where there's more successes than failures. And that one, for me, it is a chance at success. And even if we fail, we've succeeded at a bigger club prior, which may well help us for future job applications. Well, we have our job offer and our answer for where we'll be going for Club 3 next weekend. However, it is not probably my first choice as we were rejected for the job in Chile. We've also been rejected for a job application at various others. So Ragsveds, I feel, look, I know it's not the perfect job at this stage, but we need to put Sweden right. We do that. We get it done this season, then we can move on to a bigger job for the summer to summer leagues for the second half of the season. And all of that means we can build up experience. If we could, let's look blue sky thinking and all of that. We could do 4 jobs in the first 2 seasons and be successful in 3 of them. That would be incredible. The job at Ragsveds isn't even to avoid relegation, it's to attempt to avoid. So while we will have to go if we're relegated from the bottom tier, it shouldn't go down as a complete failure. They're still 12th at the minute, having played a game more, but it's tight. And up to 10th place, it's competitive. You look at the benefits, if we go over to the rules screen, we have still got the transfer window open till the end of August, so we've got a month to get work done behind the scenes. We've only got to finish outside the top 2, and we could have a relegation playoff if we're third bottom. I think this is going to be the right move for us. We're sticking with Scandinavia. We're taking the Roy Hodgson approach to building a career, and we are going to go to Ragsveds for our next job. So next weekend, we will be back in Sweden to put right the wrong from Club 1. If you're looking forward to that and you did enjoy this one, as we conquered Denmark with Lyseng in a dramatic final day, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you think of this job and let me know how you think we'll get on. Will we put it right or will it be failure in Sweden again? If you want to stay up to date and find out, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Stay up to date with new episodes from this series every week. 1 club per episode, and next week it will be Ragsveds of Sweden's lowest tier again. In the meantime, we're going to be live plenty on Twitch for our regular stories. You can find that up in the eye above, as well as a link to the football podcast for regular content and matchday action, as well as championship predictions every matchday from England. However, for now, it is success with Lyseng. We survive on the final day. Now we return to Sweden next weekend, and we hope to do the same over there. I'll see you there to find out if we can do it.